Hey, how's it going guys? This is Dave 2D and this is my review of the Dell Inspiron 15-inch 7559. So this is kind of like an update to the 7000 series from earlier this year, but what makes this one special is the price. It's $800 and it's kind of geared towards gamers, right? It's a black device with red accents, so it looks pretty cool, but it's packed to the gills with stuff that's like perfect for mid-level laptop gaming, which is really surprising because an $800 device from Dell that's good for gaming seems impossible, right? Let's take a look. Now, to keep the price of this laptop as low as possible, Dell had to cut some corners, and packaging was one of the first corners they cut. It's packed in this like egg carton material, and it's not the prettiest unboxing experience, but it works. The top surface of this laptop has this black, soft touch rubber finish, and it's got this distinct red Dell logo. I think this is actually the first red Dell logo I've ever seen. Now, I have this love-hate relationship with this soft touch material. I love it when it's new. It's like a very inviting material to use, and it has like really great grip. It feels nice in your hand and doesn't show fingerprints easily. But then when it gets a little bit older, it can look really beat up, like scratches and scuffs show up really easily on this material. But the laptop also comes in like a regular plastic finish if that's what you want. The bottom surface is plastic. There's two red rubber strips here for grip, a small subwoofer, and a single screw that gives you full access to the internals. I really like how easy it is to open it up. And inside we have access to the hard drive, a spare M2 SATA socket for a second drive, and the RAM slots. Now this is an 8 gig model, and the RAM they give you is an 8 gig stick instead of a pair of 4 gig sticks. So if you want to upgrade to 16 gigs, you only need to buy one more of the 8 gig sticks, so that's always nice. It's a little bit less than an inch thick and 5.7 pounds. On the left side we have the power connection, exhaust vent, a pair of USB 3 ports, and a headphone jack. And on the right side we have the SD card slot, another USB 3 port, full-size HDMI 1.4, and an Ethernet jack. And if you care, the SD card goes in pretty deep. On the back side, there are some exhaust vents that have these red metal fins inside them, and they look cool, but they can get bent pretty easily. You can bend them back with like a screwdriver or something, but just be careful because if you bend them back and forth a bunch, they're gonna look bad. The overall build quality is pretty good. The hinge is solid, the keyboard area is surprisingly sturdy, and the screen has some flex. Not a lot, but it's kind of expected for the materials that they chose. The configuration I'm reviewing is the base model. It's a Skylake Core i5 running at 2.3 GHz, a GTX 960M with 4 gigs of video RAM, a 15.6-inch 1080p screen, 8 gigs of RAM, a 1TB hard drive, and this will run you $800 US. Lifting the lid, the palm rest has that same soft touch material, and again, I have that love-hate relationship with it. So the keyboard has that number pad split that you might have to get used to, but the layout otherwise is good. So the arrow keys are well positioned, and it's not surrounded by any other keys. And also the backlighting is actually really nice on this keyboard. There's like a high setting, a medium setting, and off. But the typing experience isn't the best. The travel on each keystroke seems okay, but the keys still feel really stiff even after using it for a week. Now, playing games on it is perfectly fine. I don't love it as a keyboard for typing. The trackpad is also kind of mediocre. It skips around a bit when you're tracking, and I don't love the texture on the surface, and I don't love the buttons again. They're kind of stiff. Again, it's not the best, but for a gaming laptop, it probably doesn't matter that much anyways, because you'll often have a mouse connected to it. The screen is a 15.9-inch IPS non-touch panel with a resolution of 1920 by 1080. The viewing angles are okay, and it's matte, so you don't get like crazy reflections, but it's not very bright, and the color gamut is poor, like really poor. You won't notice it playing games, and the contrast on the screen is actually pretty good for darker games, but I wouldn't use this screen for like color accurate work. It's just no good for that. The webcam up top is a 720p camera, and it looks like this. The drive that they give you is pretty slow. It's 5400 RPM, and it makes me die a little bit on the inside, but thankfully it's super easy to swap out. So if your budget allows for it, try to get an SSD in here. It'll make it that much better. Now, if you're video editing, 1080p edits are very smooth, and 4K edits are still pretty decent as long as you're not using that stock drive. Now, like I've mentioned in other videos, having 2 drive slots in a notebook is awesome for stuff like video edits and recording gameplay footage. It keeps your computer really responsive. Now, gaming on 960M is solid. It handles current titles really nicely. So Dota 2, that's not very current, but that runs really well on max graphics settings. And team fights, it can still drop below 50 frames per second, but solo laning, you're gonna get like 100, 120 frames per second. Black Ops 3, it'll hit 60 frames per second on high settings, but there's this like weird flashing artifact on some of the particle effects. It's definitely a driver issue, and it's something that they're probably gonna get fixed soon, but as of today, the game is pretty tough to play with like blinding flashes everywhere you go. The new Rainbow Six game is super fun, and it'll also float around 60 frames per second on high settings. And now I normally don't plug games on these reviews, but if you're looking for a different kind of shooter, take a look at Rainbow Six Siege. It's a shooter, but there's a lot of strategy and teamwork, and this new one's pretty cool. The speakers are up on the keyboard area here, and they sound decent. They get loud, but higher frequencies start to break up when the volume goes up. And if you remember, there's a subwoofer on the bottom of the laptop, but this one doesn't sound that great. The one on the Asus GL752, that one sounded nice. I mean, it looked gimmicky, but it sounded good. This one here just sounds okay. System noise isn't bad. It idles around 25 decibels, mostly from that hard drive, and it hits mid to high 30s when it's under load. The temperatures are also pretty good. It just breaks 100 degrees under heavy load. The charger is 130 watts, and it takes the battery about 2.5 hours to fill up, and there's a blue LED on the AC tip. The battery life isn't bad. I was getting around 5.5 hours of regular use with the screen at about 75% brightness, and about 2 hours of playing games on battery. Now, there is a configuration of this laptop with a 4K screen. I haven't used it, but that screen would drain batteries a lot faster. And if your primary purpose is to play games, I would totally just get the 1080p screen. A 960M isn't ideal for playing 4K games. Okay, recap of the Inspiron 7559. Good build quality, just be careful with that soft touch finish, it can scuff easily. The 1080p screen is good enough for games, but the color accuracy is poor, so I wouldn't rely on it for color accurate work. The keyboard is okay, it's shifted to the left from the number pad, and the keys feel a little stiff when you're typing on it. The trackpad skips a little bit, and it's not the best trackpad out there, but again, it's okay. On the inside, we have a Core i5 and a GTX 960M that handles most current games pretty well, 8 gigs of easily upgraded RAM, an upgradable 1TB SATA hard drive, an M2 SATA slot for a secondary drive, and a decent 74 watt-hour battery that'll last you about 5 to 6 hours of regular use. So you're probably wondering if this laptop is worth it. Okay, for $800, I think Dell hit a home run. There's obviously stuff that I don't love about it, like the screen, the trackpad, and the drive's a little bit slow, which you can upgrade. But for $800, like if you have a budget of $800 or less, this should be on the top of your list because it performs well, it's super upgradable, and it's very inexpensive. That's the end of this review. Hope you guys liked it. Thumbs if you did, subs if you loved it. It's been nice, and I'll see you guys next time.